Welcome, wicked friends, and welcome to a new month of DIY crafting. So in today's video, we're starting a new series of videos. We are going to be working on all things Anne of Green Gables. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Anne of Green Gables was a staple video series in my home growing up. Me and my two sisters, we all loved Anne of Green Gables. We watched it all the time, many times, over and over again. And so I just thought that this would be a great series to do this time of year. I really remember a lot of fall and winter scenes in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I thought that this would just fit in perfectly with the fall of this year. All right, so before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, turn on that notifications bell, and make sure it is set to all so you receive all of my notifications. All right, so let's get started with this DIY. So as you can see here, I have this cute little Anne of Green Gables with her blue puff sleeve dress clothespin doll that I made, and she does have a little hang tag. I actually made her as a journal charm, and you could use it as a journal charm, you could use it as an ornament. I just thought they look so cute. I've made these similar ones to these before, but I thought this would be a really fun little DIY craft that I can do with you guys today. Now, since I've already made Anne here in her blue puff sleeve dress, as you guys all remember, if you've seen the movie before, the blue puff sleeve dress was like an iconic scene in one of the movies. I also wanted to make her friend Diana, and so we're going to be doing Diana as well. I'm just going to show you a few of the items that I'm going to use to make these. Obviously, I have a vintage clothespin here. I also have a little wooden head bead. I actually got these on Temu. However, if you don't want to order them from Temu, you can use a little wooden bead and paint a face on however you'd like. These are just easy because they're already painted and ready to go. And then I have a bump chenille pipe cleaner. I also picked some other little fabrics and laces to coordinate with the pink color dress that Diana wore to the ball or gala that they went to. And Diana's dress was more of like a mauve pink color. So that's some of the items that I picked here. I have some vintage laces. I just picked a few different ones. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these, but I'll probably use at least one of them. I have this thick cording. It's like almost like a silk cording. It's a little bit on the thicker side, but this is what I'm going to use for a hang tag for our little doll. And so again, you can use kind of whatever you have if it's something on the thicker side. I like this one because it was like shiny and a little bit dressier. And then I have, again, just some thin lace ribbon. This is, again, another vintage thin lace ribbon that I have here, and I'm sure I thrifted it from somewhere. I have a little bit of this mauve colored yarn, I should say. I don't know if it's wool, but it's yarn. And I'm probably going to use a little bit of this. And then I'm also going to use some of this pink Crafter's Square tulle. This you can get at the Dollar Tree. Now for the Anne one that I made, I actually had this this shiny tooling that I had found at one of the thrift stores, or probably at Goodwill bins. And so I ended up using that. It's actually a pretty good size piece that you're going to need, but I think this one right here, this is 3 yards. I think that should be more than enough to make the dress on this doll. All right, so I think that's just about it. Oh, I also do have some of these vintage quick curl hair. This is for doll hair. And again, this is vintage. I found this, again, thrifting. And this is the darkest I had. It's not quite black, but it is a darker color. And I know Anne's is not quite red. I know her hair is a little bit more red than this, but it was kind of like a strawberry blonde color that I found. So that's what I used for her hair. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna just kind of clear off my stuff here and we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing I am going to do is I'm gonna glue my little head bead onto the top of my clothespin that I have here. And I'm just using hot glue. I already have it all heated up, so just a little bit of hot glue right on the top of that clothespin. I actually got my clothespins on eBay. Somebody was selling a whole pack of vintage clothespins on there. So I just bought a pack of them. I don't know, there was probably 50 clothespins in the pack that they were selling. I love the vintage ones. Sometimes you can find this style in like Walmart or whatever. But I don't know, I just always tend to like to use the vintage ones instead. I like the shape of the vintage. All right, so we're just gluing that head right on top of our clothespin, and I'm gonna set that aside to dry. And then I'm gonna take my bump chenille piece here, and you can get these on Amazon. I will link this in the description below. So basically I'm going to bend my pipe cleaner in half so that the bumps all line up. So you'll have one big bump on either side. And then what I'll do is I'll just make a little twist right where the bump starts, and then I'll make a little twist. This is going to be like where the hand is, so just kind of twist that. And if it's the end that it's the sharp ends, I kind of just bend those little ends in so that they're not sharp anymore. And then again, right where the other bump is, I'm going to twist just a couple of times. And then again, where the little hand would be, just do a couple little twists and bend that in, okay? So these are now gonna be the two arms for our little doll. Now, I am gonna take some of my yarn here that I have. Let me see if I can find the end of it. If not, I'm just gonna, oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so here is my yarn. Now, this is a bright pink color. It's really too bright of a color for the dress that I'm doing. So I thought this yarn actually matched better. So basically what I'm going to do is I am just going to start wrapping some of this yarn, and you can actually put a little dab of glue on the back just to get it started. So I'm just putting a little dab of glue on the back in the center, if you can see there, and then I'll just wrap my yarn into that glue. I don't want to pull it too tight because I don't want to lose the shape of that bump chenille. But I'm gonna just take my yarn and just kind of wrap around that chenille just enough so that way it kind of covers up that bright pinkness. All right, so now we've got a couple of arms. Now we're gonna take our crafter's square tool, and I'm just gonna pull it out, and I'll probably cut a little piece of this off to start. So now this tooling is like, what, about 6 inches wide, but then it's pretty long. So I'm gonna cut a strip that's probably like maybe 15 inches or so. Not gonna need a whole lot for this first part, but and again, you don't have to be very precise or straight with your cutting. It doesn't matter, you're not going to really see it. But I have a strip now that's about 15 inches long. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I think I'm going to fold it in half one more time, and we'll take our arms, and on the inside of our arms I'm going to put a little bit more hot glue, just a little bit, and we're going to set that tooling right down in there. So now that we have it glued to the back, we're gonna kind of pinch one side, and I'm gonna twist. So it's pinching and twisting, and I'm gonna put a little bit more glue kind of on the inside shoulder here, and we're gonna pull that twisted part into the glue. All right, and we're gonna do the same thing with the other side. We're just gonna pinch it and twist it. So it's got like a little twist. And again, put a little bit more glue right there, and we're gonna pull that into the glue. So now we've got like these two kind of almost twisted pieces wrapped around the back side of what her arms will be. So now we have kind of this almost like bow thing going on. It's not quite a bow, but it kind of is a bow. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of open up that fold a little bit of one side, and we're gonna kind of just bunch it at the end. It's almost like if you were tying a bow, it would be like the fluffy part of the bow. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the other side. I'm holding that kind of in place. You could take a little bit more of your yarn now and wrap it around that little puff that you made and tie a knot in it. But here is like the puff of a sleeve, if you can see. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So again, I'm gonna just open up that fold slightly, like it was folded into 4, so now it's gonna be just folded in half. Take the edge, pinch it, and turn it shut, or turn it back to the center again. And then take your yarn and wrap it around and tie it in a little knot. So this is the inside. You can see it's almost like making a bow on the outside of the arms, if you can see there. Okay, so here's your arms and here's your bow on the outside of those arms. Those are going to be kind of like on the shoulders. And we can puff this up later as we go along, but that's just kind of like the base to our arms and shoulders. All right, so now we're gonna go back to our doll body, and we're gonna take our glue, and on the back side of her neck, which will be back here, I'm gonna put a little bit more hot glue. Not a whole lot, just a tiny little dot of hot glue. More of our yarn, and I'm just gonna set that yarn into the hot glue. We're gonna start making her body. As you can see, I'm just wrapping it around. Just want to make sure all of the wood part of the clothespin is covered by the yarn. All right, so you don't have to go all the way down. I'm only going to go about halfway down. This will be like her chest area. And then on the back side of her, again, take a little bit more hot glue and just do another little dot of hot glue and put that tail of the yarn in that hot glue, and we'll snip that off. All right, next I have some more lace. This is just a snippet of lace. I only have about maybe 5 inches of the lace. Again, you don't need very much. This is gonna be like her underskirt that's gonna go under her dress. So I'm gonna start on the back again. I always like to glue on the back so you don't see the glue. I want the lace to be about the length of the clothespin. I don't want it to be much longer. So I'm just gonna start my lace about the length of the clothespin. And then we'll just, again, put a couple dots of hot glue all around where it's going to meet up to the other side. Because we're just gonna wrap this lace just around her. I'll go around a couple of times if I have to. All right, so now we've got kind of like a lace underskirt going on here. I'm gonna use a little bit more of this just snippet of lace that I have here. I'm just cutting a small little piece. I'm gonna cut just a little bit of this edge of the lace. You don't need much, because this is gonna be like the lace that's gonna go around her neckline. Lightly. They were all about lace in dresses back then, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but so again, I'm going to just take a little bit more of this hot glue, just put a couple little dots of that hot glue on her front of her bodice, and then we'll put a little bit of that lace, just kind of covering that pink color, that pink yarn up a little bit, so the pink kind of pops out from underneath, but you're gonna have a lot of like lace popping through underneath. Now we're gonna start working on the actual dress portion. So now is where we have the rest of our tulle. Now, like I said, this is only 6 inches wide. So what we wanna do is where we cut it off last time, we wanna kind of gather it and bundle it into like a little bundle and pinch it all together, okay? And this is gonna be the trickiest part of this whole thing. We're gonna start on the back, and we're basically taking that little bundle, we're taking a little bit more of the tulle, and we're gonna make another little loop and another loop. We're just continuously making these little loops all the way around. So that's about good. I don't need any more than that. I just want enough to go all the way around her. I'll trim off the excess here if I can. So now we have the base of her dress. I'm again holding it all together where I looped it at the top. Now I'm going to take a rubber band, just a small rubber band, and I'm going to go around that top of the dress with my rubber band 2 or 3 times, just like that. All right, as you can see, our shape is already kind of starting here. So now we have her cute little dress with the lace kind of underneath poking out. We can kind of open that up a little bit and mess around with it. We've got a cute little shape going on here. You can see the dress is looking like a dress now. All right, so now we're gonna take our puff sleeves right here, and then on the back inside, we're gonna put some more glue. I'm gonna actually put it right on the back of our little doll here. And we're gonna put the back side of the sleeves to the back side of the dress. And we're going to wrap it around. Just gonna pull those arms around. And if we want to put more glue on the inside here so that her arms stay like forward, you definitely can do that. And again, we can fluff this all up afterwards, but basically right now we're just creating kind of the structure of the doll. So for her, I actually found this cute little flower with a little rhinestone. I thought that that would be really pretty on the front of her dress. So we're just gonna stick that, and that will also cover up the elastic band. So now I'm gonna add the hang tag. So I'm taking a little bit of this like silk cording, and not very much. I'm gonna take probably 10 inches or so, and I'm gonna make a little loop, and then I'm gonna take my loop and make a little knot in the bottom of it, and we'll cut it off. All right, so here's our little hang loop. Now we want to put this on before we put our hair on. So I'm just going to glue this right to the back side of her, where her dress is. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there, and we'll set that hang tag right in the glue. Now I think I put the hang tag underneath some lace on this one. The hair is probably going to cover up a lot of it anyhow. So, okay, so there's that. And again, we can fluff this up and do what we need to cover up some of these pieces that we don't want showing afterwards. But I just want to continue getting it all constructed. Okay, so now let's get some of the hair. So let's see, let's take a little bit of this dark curly curls. And it's kind of there. I'm just taking a little bit of it, about a handful, small handful. This stuff is kind of messy. So I'm just going to kind of take the curls and kind of almost make a, rub them together and almost make a knot out of it, like so that it's kind of knotted, because I find that it stays together a little bit better when it is knotted. Okay, so there's our hair. And again, she's got a lot of hair here. So you can kind of twist it and fold it however you think it's gonna look good. And so like I said, I want it to kind of cover some of that hang cord in the back. So I'm gonna kind of separate it a little bit in the back like that. Kind of set it where I want it. And then again, going back in with our hot glue, we're gonna cover her head and then just push that hair right down into that hot glue. All right. And now, as you can see, like the hang tag is like pulling up through the back. Now again, we can take and put a little bit of hot glue on the back of the hang tag and take that hair and kind of push that back into that hot glue so it kind of stays to the back of the head. She is looking very cute already as well. There's our Diana Berry. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna take a little bit of lace and just cover up some of these sleeves. I think she had some lace in her sleeves, so I have just these little bits of lace that I think I'm just gonna go and hot glue like right over my arms here a little bit. They love those big puffy lacy sleeves anyhow, so I think that's gonna look really good. So I'll do the same for the other side. There's Diana. Now I'm pretty sure that Diana had a string of pearls that she had hanging around her neck. So I'm actually gonna take this little string of faux pearls. So now she's got a little strand of pearls on, as you can see. I'm pretty sure she did in the movie. I probably should put something in Diana's hands. Maybe a flower, although I like the flower on her dress here. I don't really think I want her dress flower to be taken away, but both of them turned out really cute. And I think these will be really cute Anne of Green Gables journal charms that can hang off of the edge of the journal book. Well, I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notifications bell so you're notified when I post new videos, and we'll see you guys again in the next video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.